There is a story spreading across the internet right now, and it is the wrong story. It involves secret alarms, hidden control rooms, and the breathless claim that physicists buried deep beneath the Franco-Swiss border have accidentally punched a hole through the fabric of space-time. Forums are filled with it. Comment sections are drowning in it. And I want to address it directly because the real story, the one that is actually unfolding in the data, in the collision statistics, in the quiet and increasingly urgent conversations between theoretical physicists across the world, is so much more profound, so much more unsettling, and so much more beautiful than any science fiction scenario the internet has conjured. Nobody at CERN has created a black hole. Nobody has opened a portal to a parallel dimension in the cinematic sense. The Large Hadron Collider is not a doomsday machine. But here is what is genuinely, deeply, mathematically alarming. The equations are starting to fail, not catastrophically, not in a way that makes headlines the way an explosion would, but in a way that every serious physicist recognizes as the most dangerous kind of failure there is, a quiet, systematic, statistically significant divergence between what our finest theoretical framework predicts and what the detectors are actually measuring. That is the panic. It is not the panic of an accident. It is the panic of comprehension, the dawning realization that the foundational architecture of particle physics, the model that has guided our understanding of matter and energy for half a century, is cracking at its mathematical foundations. To understand why this is so significant, I want you to imagine something. Picture all of human civilization living its entire existence on the surface of an enormous drum. Not inside the drum, not beneath it, but precisely on that thin, taut membrane stretched across its top. Generations are born on this surface, cities are built on it. Every telescope ever constructed points outward across it. Every particle accelerator ever designed fires beams along it. And over centuries, humanity constructs an extraordinarily beautiful, comprehensive theory of everything that exists on this surface. The mathematics is airtight. The predictions are astonishing in their accuracy. Physicists stand at the edge of this drum skin and declare, with complete mathematical justification, that this surface is the totality of physical reality. Now imagine that a civilization, through extraordinary engineering, constructs an unimaginably powerful hammer. And they bring that hammer down onto the surface of the drum with a force equivalent to recreating the energy conditions that existed a fraction of a second after the universe began. And the drum does not simply vibrate the way their equations predicted. Instead, they hear something impossible. They hear resonances echoing from beneath, from a direction their physics has no coordinate for. From a spatial architecture their equations contain no variable to describe. The drum skin, they begin to realize, is not reality. It is a membrane, impossibly thin and impossibly fragile, stretched across the outer face of an architecture so vast and so complex that the surface dwellers have never possessed the sensory apparatus to perceive it. That is not a metaphor I am using loosely. That is, in a genuinely precise technical sense, what the data anomalies emerging from high-energy proton collisions at CERN are beginning to suggest. And the theoretical implications reach into three distinct areas of physics, each one more disorienting than the last. The first is what I would call the arrogance of visible matter. For most of human history, and indeed for most of the history of modern physics, we have operated under a deeply intuitive but profoundly incorrect assumption. We have assumed that the stuff we can see, the protons and electrons and photons that compose every atom of every star and every human body and every instrument we have ever built, constitutes the physical substance of the universe. We assume this because it was the only thing our instruments could detect. And our instruments were, for a very long time, extraordinarily good at confirming our assumptions. But the numbers do not lie, and the numbers are brutal in their honesty. The matter that emits or interacts with light, what astronomers call baryonic matter, constitutes approximately 5% of the total energy content of the observable universe. 5%. Everything you have ever seen, every galaxy imaged by every telescope ever launched, every particle ever fired through every accelerator, every atom in every human body on this planet, accounts for 5% of what is physically out there. The remaining 95% is something else entirely, something our standard model, our most precise and comprehensive theory of particle physics, does not describe, does not predict, and in its current mathematical form, cannot accommodate. This would be uncomfortable enough as an astronomical observation, but now the discomfort is arriving at the subatomic level, which is a different order of crisis entirely. When protons are accelerated to energies approaching the theoretical predictions of the standard model and then collided inside detectors the size of cathedrals, the resulting debris field should be fully accounted for. Every quark fragment, every lepton spray, every photon, and every unit of energy should appear somewhere in the detector readout. The mathematics of conservation is ironclad. Energy does not vanish. It transforms, it disperses, it radiates in measurable directions, except that in certain collision events at specific energy thresholds, the accounting does not close. There are statistical signatures in the data that suggest energy is going somewhere the detectors cannot see, somewhere that is not simply off to the side or absorbed in shielding material, but somewhere that is orthogonal to every spatial direction the detector possesses. The second area of profound theoretical consequence is the architecture of extra dimensions. This is where string theory and the family of models it has inspired become not merely an abstract mathematical indulgence, but a concrete, testable framework for understanding what the collision data might be telling us. The central insight of string theory is that the fundamental constituents of matter are not point-like particles, but one-dimensional filaments of energy, strings vibrating at specific frequencies in a space that contains not 3, but 10 or 11 spatial dimensions. The reason we perceive only 3 spatial dimensions, according to these models, is that the remaining 6 or 7 are compactified, curled into microscopic geometric structures at scales so small that our best instruments have never been sensitive enough to resolve them. These extra dimensions are not in some distant region of space, they are here. They are woven through every cubic centimeter of the space you currently occupy. They are present in the room around you right now. They are folded into the geometry of space-time at scales billions of times smaller than a proton. And the reason we cannot perceive them is not because they are mysterious or metaphysical, but simply because our sensory apparatus and the instruments we have built as extensions of that apparatus do not operate at the energy scales required to probe those geometric structures. The braneworld models, which are a class of theoretical frameworks derived from string theory, add an additional layer of precision to this picture. In these models, our observable universe is not the full extent of spacetime, but rather a 3-dimensional surface, a brane, embedded within a higher dimensional bulk. Matter and the electromagnetic force, the light and particles we are made of and detect with, are confined to this brane. We are, in a mathematically rigorous sense, surface dwellers. We cannot escape the brane using any conventional physical interaction because those interactions are themselves brane-bound. But gravity, alone among the fundamental forces, is not confined to the brane. Gravity propagates into the bulk. And this is not a speculative poetic flourish. This is a specific, testable mathematical prediction. If these models are correct, then high-energy collisions that produce sufficiently small structures at scales approaching the compactification radius of the extra dimensions should produce gravitational radiation that leaks into the bulk. The energy carried away by this bulk-bound gravitational radiation would appear in our detectors precisely as missing energy, as a systematic shortfall in the collision accounting that grows more pronounced at higher energies and at specific angular distributions that carry the geometric fingerprint of the extra-dimensional structure. The anomalies being detected at CERN are not yet at the level of a definitive confirmation, but they are at the level where the theoretical physicists who understand these models best are no longer dismissing the possibility, and that change in posture is significant. The third area of consequence is what I think of as the phantom physics of the dark sector, and this is where the intellectual vertigo becomes genuinely difficult to manage. Dark matter is not simply invisible matter of the kind we are already familiar with, ordinary atomic matter that happens not to emit light. The astronomical and cosmological evidence constrains its properties with extraordinary precision, and those constraints rule out every known particle in the standard model. Dark matter must be composed of something for which we currently have no description whatsoever. It interacts gravitationally, which we can measure through its effect on galactic rotation curves and gravitational lensing. Beyond that, its interaction cross-sections with ordinary matter are so suppressed that decades of extraordinarily sensitive direct detection experiments have produced no confirmed signal. Dark energy is an even deeper crisis. It constitutes approximately 68% of the total energy content of the universe. It is causing the expansion of space itself to accelerate, and our best theoretical calculation of what it ought to be, derived from quantum field theory, is wrong by a factor of 10 raised to the power of 120. That is not a rounding error. That is the largest quantitative discrepancy between theory and observation in the entire history of science. But the aspect of the dark sector that is generating the quietest and most sustained alarm is the emerging possibility that dark matter and dark energy are not passive features of the cosmic background, not simply a gravitational scaffolding and an energy reservoir, but active components of a parallel physical framework governed by dark forces, mediated by dark particles, operating according to interaction laws that are entirely separate from the four fundamental forces we have mapped. There could be a dark electromagnetism, there could be dark nuclear processes, there could be a physics of extraordinary complexity and richness unfolding in the dark sector, superimposed directly over every region of space we have ever observed, utterly invisible to us. Not because it is in some remote location, but because we do not possess the physical receptors to interface with it. The detectors at CERN were not designed to see this dark sector directly, but they were designed with extraordinary sensitivity to the bookkeeping of energy and momentum. And it is precisely that bookkeeping in those specific high-energy collision regimes where the numbers are beginning to suggest that the boundary between the visible and the invisible is not as impermeable as our equations have assumed. And this is the genuine story, not a disaster, not a doomsday, but something far more confronting than either of those things. The confrontation with the boundaries of human perception, formalized in the language of mathematics, made concrete in the statistics of subatomic debris fields, is not the end of physics. It is something rarer and more precious than that. It is physics arriving at its own edge and discovering, with instruments precise enough to register the fact that the edge is not a wall but a threshold. Human biology evolved to navigate a thin sliver of physical reality. Our eyes detect a narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum. Our fingertips resolve features down to roughly 1/10 of a millimeter. Our nervous systems process information at frequencies relevant to the timescales of biological survival. None of these capacities were shaped by evolutionary pressure to perceive compactified extra dimensions or dark sector force mediators. We are, in the most literal physical sense, beings adapted to the surface of the drum. The hammer we have built beneath the Alps is the first instrument in human history sensitive enough to hear what the surface cannot contain. The resonance coming back from beneath is not chaos, it is information. It is the first faint acoustic signature of an architecture we have never had the instruments to perceive, and the physicists listening to it most carefully are not panicking because the universe is ending. They are panicking because they are beginning to understand, at the most rigorous mathematical level, how much of it they have never seen.